Welcome, everyone. We are live on this glorious Thursday. You know, it's Thursday. I was reading this post and it says, "Help me, guys. I've been trying to manifest for 8 years." So that's why it's called What to Do Now. What do you do now? You see, we must remember that we are always seeing the contents of our own imagination. We are always manifesting all day, every single day. So the only thing that would prevent us from quote unquote not being able to manifest is the inability to believe that and know it. Because remember, Neville says belief and knowing, they get married, they become one. Yes, because you will now live what you know, because what you know is what you believe to be true. So, whenever you are feeling stuck, you must go back to the drawing board. What is the drawing board? Listen, I understand frustration. Okay? I understand not getting what you want. And people say, I got so mad, I just threw in the towel and said, "Fuck it." And then what they wanted came after they quote unquote let it go. Do you know why that is? Because you turned your attention somewhere else instead of fighting. You turned yourself somewhere else, which released the tension of the fight. That's why it showed up. You repolarized yourself. We must remember what we are doing and what the process is. Because when we are living unwittingly, meaning we're just, remember, I told you, this is the description that the KYBALION gives. Life is like an ocean, and the current is moving all the time. And if you get in the ocean, you're going to go where the current takes you. But if you get in the current with a destination in your mind, that is where the current will take you. So the difference between just living and living deliberately is you have a set intention on where you want to end up. Well, isn't it just better to just go with the flow of life? Listen, the flow of life never stops. The flow of life never stops because it cannot. You understand? The flow of life cannot stop because we are living. And when you are living, you are being. And if you're being, you are doing, which is what? Not in violation of law number 3. Everything vibrates, everything moves. So whether or not you live life deliberately or you just fly by the seat of your pants, you're still going to manifest. You're going to manifest what's in the seat of your pants, or you'll manifest deliberately. But either way, you're going to do it. So what do you do now? If you have found yourself in a situation where you say, well, I have been trying, or I tried, that doesn't work. What do you mean? What, am I not good enough to get what I want? Listen, it has nothing to do with being good enough. It has to do with these 3 simple things that make us deliberate. You must know what you want. If you say, well, I want a new car, but then in the same breath you say, well, I don't know how I'm going to afford that. Or I do, but man, really, do I need it? I want it, but I could invest that money somewhere else. What are you doing? You see where the problem is? Right at number 1, you do not have clarity about what it is you want. You're seeking to justify what you want. Okay? That's what's happening. Look at all of the excuses. The moment you give excuses, you are being wishy-washy and you do not know what you want. So to fix the problem, make a decision about what you want. And excuses, kick them to the curb, for lack of a better phrase. If you want something, you want something. Yeah? When a baby wants that boob, I'm sorry. You could try and convince that child otherwise. I remember the days of being in the grocery store line with my son in my arms. He was a wee one. And I would hear his little noises that he's fussing. Oh, you know what your girl did. You think I cared about who was around me? I'm loading groceries with one hand on the conveyor belt and I'm putting a boob in his mouth with the other. So I didn't care who looked. You have two options, a screaming child or a quiet child. I chose a quiet child, okay? So I didn't care. So when you make your decision, make your decision. Don't be out here, well, my mother, what would she think? What would my friends think? They're going to say I'm bougie. They always tell me I'm bougie anyway. You know, I don't want that anymore. And you try and talk yourself out of your decision based upon the opinions of somebody else. See, that's problem number one. You don't know what you want, or you are afraid to accept what you want because you don't think you're worthy and deserving of it. Or you're afraid of how somebody's going to judge you about what you want. What are they going to think about me? See? Step one, what do you want? This message is never going to change. So if you're tired of hearing this message, you can click off now. But if you want to keep listening because you have that problem, listen, faith comes by hearing. So one of these days, it's going to click for you and you'll say, oh my God, I know what I want. Good. Now that you know what you want, what would it feel like to you if you had it? What would you get up in the morning like? Would you get up like SpongeBob? I'm ready. I'm ready. Would you get up like SpongeBob? Well, how would you get out of bed if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be? How would you do it? When you drink your coffee, when you drink your tea, if you eat your eggs, don't come for me. If you eat your bacon, don't come for me. Okay? I just said bacon. Anyway, how would you do that? How would you walk down the street to get the mail? How would you sign for your packages that showed up by Amazon or UPS or FedEx? How would you do that? What kind of attitude would you do that? Well, how would you know? Because some people would say, well, I've never experienced it, so I don't know how it would feel. I love when people say that because I've said it many times. Well, I've never experienced a marriage. How am I supposed to know what that feels like? Well, let me tell you. Can you imagine getting up in the morning and Tamara Murray Housley, oh God, she posted this video and the caption read, oh, you think your husband is going to wake you up with kisses and hugs in the morning and all you hear is this long drawn out fart noise. Now, what would that be like for you to wake up and just hear that noise? Because it means it's either you or somebody else. See, that's where you start. What would it be like to know that you're trying to stretch out and you're hitting somebody's leg and you're like, oh shoot, there's a man in my bed or there's a woman in my bed. You know how, now if you're a fella and you open your eyes and you inhale nice and deep and the first thing you smell is a sweet, soft fragrance and you're like, that's right. I got me a wife and her skin is soft and she smells so nice. Let me go downstairs and bring her some watermelon because it's a little hot. What would you do? You see, we get caught up and we think that marriage is this, whatever it is. No, you really want to know what marriage is? Having somebody walking on the bathroom and you trying to go number two and your butt cheeks go, nope, we're done. Like, because you're so used to going alone. These are the things that you do. You know, Sinbad was like, you know, when you're newlywed, you go, oh my God, there he goes. And by the time you're 10 years in, you're like, there he goes. You see, what would these little experiences be like? You're no longer living in your house alone. Okay? You're not. You can send somebody to do some errands for you, or you can go run some errands for somebody else. right? But you're not in the house alone. What's the first thing that you would notice because you're not living in your house by yourself? You see? This is what you start to think about, what you start to imagine. How would your daily life change starting first thing in the morning? How would the day end as you put your head on your pillow? Oh, I missed you all day. Like, you see what I'm saying? Those are the little things that would make your life different. So now when you say, well, I've never experienced a marriage, I don't know what that would be like. It would be just like that. What would it be like in your house? Because you are no longer in it by yourself. What would be different? Going to the bathroom would be different. Cooking food would be different because now you're not cooking for one. You got to plan a menu. You got to write your grocery list out. You got to plan your laundry day because men get dirty. Right? So you hear what I'm saying? Now, as a man, you got to hear, honey, can you pick up your socks? You know, the hamper is like right there. I left the hamper open. You don't even have to pick up the lid from the hamper. Just put your socks in the hamper. As a man, you can hear what she says to you or what she would say, what you think she would say. I hope this is painting a picture for you. So the next time you want to say, oh, I've never experienced it, so I don't know what it would like. Do you know how to solve that problem? How would your day begin with this new thing in it? That's how you would decide. Do I make myself clear? I'm trying, okay? So step 3, if you go back to step 2 and you realize what you're imagining, how things would change, one of those things is going to jump out at you and go, oh my God, that's exactly what it would be like. I resonate with that one the most. Good. So step 3 would be find that one thing that you resonate with that you just imagined. And every morning as you pop your eyes open, close them again and begin to feel. Remember last night's lecture? We have 5 senses. Raise imagination to the state of vision, meaning you can hear clearly what your future spouse would say, or you could see them, just an expression on their face, right? You could see your new office with your name on the door, right? You could see your secretary outside giving you the dirty look, talking about, you've been on the phone for a long time. You got these people out here waiting for you. You could, if you had that kind of secretary in your new job. You hear what I'm saying? So one of these scenes, or you're driving your new Jeep Cherokee, and somebody who knows you drives by you and you say, "Bragga, bragga," you're like, yeah. And you put your hand out the window and you wave because you say, that's me. Just in case you didn't know, because you have tinted windows. But I digress. Have to make yourself known in your Jeep Cherokee. But, one of those things, based upon your personality, is going to jump out at you because it resonates with you. And you will say, yes, that's exactly what I would do. So step 3 would be every morning, feel it, hear it, sense it, whatever it is in your personality. Just immerse yourself in the sensation. For instance, if you really don't want to get up and go to work this morning, what did you do? You laid there and you immersed yourself in the, oh God, do I really have to get up and go to work today? Did you do that? You fully immersed yourself in it. I keep telling you, you're already doing it. So you might as well do it deliberately. So lay there and fully immerse yourself in it. Now, let me tell you, allegedly, NASA says there's a particular brainwave because they did a study, right? They did a study with these little itty bitty kids. And they tested these kids, and all these kids were geniuses. 5 years later, they tested them again. Well, 2 or 3 of them remained geniuses. The others, best of luck. They did it with adults. But what they realized was And because what did they say? They said it's almost like this particular brainwave becomes dormant in adulthood. Oh, yeah. So, what is that brainwave? That brainwave is theta. What is theta? It's a slow brainwave. But think about it, as within, so without. So if I'm telling you it's a slow brainwave, what do you think you're doing? Do you think you're doing a vigorous activity? No, it's a slow brainwave. So they tell you this brainwave is activated when you meditate. This brainwave is activated when you're doing autopilot things. You know, standing at the kitchen sink, watching your dishes, folding your laundry. All of these things are autopilot, driving, bathing, autopilot. So what do you think you are doing when Neville Goddard and scripture tells you to lay on your bed and commune with yourself in your heart and be still? What do you think that's saying to you? Lay on your bed, commune with yourself in your heart, and be still. Could you possibly be putting yourself in a theta brainwave? Yes, of course you are. Of course. Listen, brainwaves follow your mental state, your mental mood, your mental attitude. Now that you know that, why do you think NASA would say, well, this brainwave seems to be dormant in adults? Because you're always doing something. You're running here and there, hither and yon, from pillar to post. Gotta do it, gotta hustle, gotta do this. Blah, 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 blah. How are you going to be in theta? How are you going to be in theta? It is the stillness. So remember, you can use the law of cause and effect. Oh, yes, you can. If you want your body to go in, your brainwaves to go into theta, what do you think you can do? Hey, birdie, what do you think you can do? Lay still. The longer you lay still, oh, Angela, please, I can't lay still. I can't even turn my mind off. My mind is like you, always running your mouth. Anyway, I digress. If you say that's you, you know why? Because you haven't practiced. Nobody's asking you to turn your mind off. That's not the focus, because you're using the effect to bring about the cause. Eh? You're using the stillness of your body as the effect, and the effect will bring about the cause. So if you lay there and you are still and you are patient, your mind will begin to slow itself down all by itself. No force required. It's when you start to force yourself to, I can't think about this, I can't think about that. I can't think, I can't turn my mind off. Oh, what are you doing? You're not laying still. You're fighting yourself in your mind. So of course it's not going to turn off. Hmm? Right? So you can use effect to bring about the cause. So if you lay there as still as you possibly can, the mind will never stop, or should I say your brain will never stop. So let it do what it does best. Think. But instead of it thinking what it wants, because you've always let it run amok, give it something to think about. Oh. So that means you're going back to step 2. You've already feel the resonance of that particular scene. Lay still and bring that scene to your mind. Yeah. So when you do that, you're laying still, you're not fidgeting or scratching. No, just relax. Because you know what happens, right? The moment you want to lay still, you got to scratch. You got to scratch something. And you're like, oh, it's okay. Scratch it and then go back. Because what you are training yourself to do is to not only be still, but to be singularly focused. You understand? That's what you're doing. That is what you are doing. So, you see, science would want to tell you these fancy things, but they are only the evidence of what you already are. So when you say, I don't know what to do anymore, I'm frustrated, you stop what you are doing and you get your clarity. What do I want? Are you trying to talk yourself out of it? Don't do that. Try your best not to. And if you can't help yourself, talk yourself into it then. What are all of the reasons that you think you deserve this thing? Because the only difference between that and what you're presently doing, you're asking yourself or telling yourself all the reasons why you don't deserve it. So what's the difference between the two? One of them you believe. Which one is that? The one you go to first. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm good enough for that. See what we do? But what you can start encouraging yourself to do is to answer the question, what would it be like if I just accepted this? What would my day be like? And you start to go through those scenarios of what it would be like. And then, like I said, one of them will stand out to you the most. And then you come across that one. That's the one you lay still on your bed, contemplate, or commune with your own heart and lay still. And you play it over and over and over again, because the next time you go to do this, to lay still, you will recognize, oh my God, I'm putting my brain in theta. And you know that when you put your brain in theta, you are highly suggestible. You now, if you continue to lay still and become very relaxed and at ease, you have just done self-hypnosis. Hypnosis has nothing to do with quack like a duck. Quack, quack. That's not hypnosis. Hypnosis is the coming on of sleep, but not surrendering to sleep, which means you are super relaxed. You can move if you wanted to, but you don't want to because you feel so good right where you are. That is self-hypnosis. And now, this is why you always have to go in knowing what you want, so that you can bring it up. And you can bring it up without any effort at all. You can bring up that small imaginal scene. Because now you're going to begin to do what? Experience in imagination what you would experience in reality. And because you are in theta and highly suggestible, then you begin to feel groggy and your body gets real heavy and you say, and you yawn. What did you go to sleep with? The state of the wish fulfilled. And what happens in the state of the wish fulfilled when you go to sleep like that? Oh, well, you've just mentally impregnated yourself. And because you mentally impregnated yourself, all of the components that are necessary for the fulfillment of your desire begin to knit themselves together. So that when you get up, 2 days, 3 days, a week, you begin to say things like, oh my God, what a coincidence. That seems like it's lining up. Oh my God, look at the synchronicities. Because you're following the deliberate process. You are doing it unwittingly, meaning you're just floating on the current of life. Why? How do I know? Man, I don't want that. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want that to happen. And you begin to see all the worst case scenarios of what's happening. And then one of them, well, what if I couldn't do that? What if I couldn't do that? Oh my God. And you feel, you immerse yourself in the, oh my God, what if that happened to me? Who's gonna look after me? And you begin to worry and panic. But you go about and you do your business for the rest of the day, don't you? And then something happens, you, oh my God, it's happening to me. How could this happen to me? You and I are already doing it. The difference being you are strongly encouraged to be deliberate. That way, you don't end up with an unwanted anything. Okay? And even if something unwanted happens, what can you do? Go back to step one. What would you prefer to happen instead? Are we ever stuck? Are we ever lost? Well, that's what you do now. Always follow the process, because the process happens to you naturally, because that is our nature. So no more of this, I tried, that doesn't work. Stop. Don't bring that attitude. Because as a man thinketh, therefore he is. Oh, snap. Of course. Why? Because as within, so without. Remember Henry Ford? And he says, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you're right. What did he say? Whether you think you can or you think you cannot, well, you're right. What is he saying? He's saying, whatever you believe to be true is right. So if you keep walking out here in these streets talking about, I can't get along with anybody, nobody ever lets me finish my sentences, nobody ever respects me. Oh, you okay? Well, I can tell you, I can call myself Prophet Angela, and I can tell you exactly what's going to happen to you. You will encounter people who don't respect you, who never let you finish your sentences, and who don't even care about you. That's exactly what you'll encounter. How can I be so sure? Because I put my money on the law. The law says, as within, so without. And it's never failed me yet. That was Joseph Niles, a song he had in Barbados. He never ever failed me yet. When troubles come from side to side, I say that's all right. I'm not the worrying type, because I got confidence. No matter what the case may be. Why? Because I know he's going to fix it for me. Who's going to fix it? I am. So where's your confidence? I am. Your confidence can't be anywhere else, because everything else is fallible. Everything else is a shadow. So you can't put your faith in a shadow. You just blow too hard and the shadow fades. So you cannot put your faith in the shadow, but you must put your faith in the thing that creates the shadow. And who's that? I know many of you said it to yourself just now. I am. So you see, that's what you do now when you feel like you're in a bind or you're stuck. Go back. What do you want? And begin to toy around, as Neville says. Begin to toy around with the scenarios of, what would it feel like to me? What would it be like to me? And as you do that, because you can see, because some people are really good at visualizing, they can see images. Others can hear real well. Others are triggered or enticed by smell. Others are triggered by taste. Others, they feel so good. You are induced by touch. Only you know who and what you are. Right? So one of those scenarios will stand out to you because the sense that you are using is the strongest one. We'll run with that one. I run with that one because it's effortless, right? That's the whole point of creation. Effortless. Let there be light. You can't get any more effortless than that. So you run with the scenario that resonates the most. And that is what you rehearse. As soon as you open your eyes, because you're still in theta, you're coming out of delta. Delta is the slowest. Well, gamma, they say, is the slowest, but delta is slow. And you're coming out of that one and you're going into theta. So as you lay there before you get out of bed, immerse yourself in the sensation of that imaginal act. Experience in imagination what you would experience in reality. And when you feel like you've done it enough or the bladder becomes too full, you go, gotta go. And you get up and you go. And you go about your day. You brush your teeth, do whatever you need to do. Bathe, whatever. Go about the day. And then after a long day of work, when you come home and you're ready for bed, do it again as you're falling asleep. Why those 2 times? Because those are the times when you are most suggestible. Those are the times when you are most susceptible to the suggestion without effort. But if you find that you're going through the day and you come up on something and, oh my God, my life is never going to change, and you want to pop yourself into that state to imagine, it might be a little bit harder because you're facing the day itself. That's why you do it in the morning before you put your feet on the floor and right before you fall asleep, the most potent times. But here's the thing. Remember, scripture tells us to do not grow weary in doing good. Don't do that. Yeah, but Angela, I've been doing it for 6 weeks. If you can tell me how long you've been doing it, you see where the problem is? You have to take your attention away from it to count how long you've been doing it. When you are immersed in something, where do you think this saying, time flies when you're having fun, where do you think that comes from? You are so immersed in the thing, you lose all sense of time. So if you are busy immersing yourself every morning and every night, well, then it will feel like the twinkling of an eye, won't it? So anytime you feel like, oh my God, it's taking too long, you are not immersed in your imaginal act. Because if you were, you would not know what day it is, what time it is. You would not know. Why? Because you are enraptured with the state of the wish fulfilled. I only have eyes for you. That's all you can see and hear and touch and taste and smell is that imaginal act. Yeah, but what action do I take? That action. The imaginal act is the action you take internally. Because the internal will decide what your external actions should be. And you cannot help doing the external. But you see, we want to say, yes, but this is a world of action, Angela. You have to do something to make things happen. The only way to know what to do is to be immersed in your imaginal act. And when you are immersed in your imaginal act, there is something on the outside that you will do naturally that corresponds with the internal. For instance, oh my God, my stomach is growling. Whatever will I do? Now, you can override the feeling of hunger if you're a little bit busy. I just got to finish this stack of papers. But let me tell you, you will not be able to indefinitely do it. Of course, unless if you're deliberately fasting. Notice the difference. If you're thirsty, same thing. The natural thing to do is not to say, what am I supposed to do? The desire, the mental mood, the mental attitude, aka the state that you are in, determines the external action you should take. So stop asking, whatever should I do, Lord? Get into the mood, and you won't have a choice of what to do. You'll be compelled to do it. Okay? For real, for real. You're already doing it this way. Like the other day when I said, ooh, Lord have mercy, a piece of key lime pie would be so nice right about now. What do you think I had to do? What do you think Flo Smiles did? Listen, we went out and we got key lime pie. For real. Because naturally, I didn't go till 6 in the evening because I got tired. And I said, oh, let me shut my eyes for a little bit. If only I'd shut my mouth for that long. I digress. But anyway, that's what I did. And then my eyes popped open and all I heard was, you better go get that key lime pie. And I was like, yes. So I phoned them and I said, I'd like to order a slice of key lime pie for pickup, please. And she said, it'll be ready in 5 minutes. I said, I'll be there in 10. You will do under compulsion. Not because somebody on the outside is forcing you to do it, but because you are in the state internally. And as within, so without. So I trust that this beautiful Thursday, things made sense to you, even though I know you're tired of hearing it. But you'll hear it and you'll do it. Because it's one thing to know what to do. It is another to do what you know. So all of this time that you think you're just listening, every fiber, every facet of your being is absorbing. And there will come a time when you are so full, you'll do what you are full of. You just will, naturally. Because why? But do you notice how it works for not just the good, not just the bad? You understand? So if every morning you come here and you hear the same process, one of these mornings, you're going to do it. Oh, yes, you will. And when you do it, you'll surprise yourself. But what if I was telling you something else? Do you see? It has the exact same effect. That's why you hear faith comes by hearing. So the more you hear it, you are enticed to try it. This is why Cheese Whiz says, you know you want it. That's their byline, their tagline. You know you want it. Right? You might not even buy it, but when you walk down the grocery store aisle, you'll see Cheese Whiz and you'll say, oh my God, you know you want it. See what I'm saying to you? We already do it, my beautiful friends. All you're doing right now is working up the courage to do it. For those of you who have not done it deliberately just yet. And that's all right. We're learning, aren't we? And the more confident and comfortable we become with what we learn, well then, do we not attempt to do it? Nobody has to teach the baby how to walk. Nobody. He observes, or she observes. They watch you. They watch you. Listen, they don't miss nothing. Children don't miss a dang thing. No, they always in your business. They don't miss nothing. So they're watching you walk by all the time. Walk on by. Sorry. They're watching you walk on by all the time. Until such time they get up on their little wobbly legs and they're like, They drop down again. Until such time they get up and they imitate what they've been observing this whole time. What do you think you and I are doing? You think because we are grown and we can walk, we don't still observe and imitate? Please, get out of here. Of course we do it. Every day, all day. What do you think training is when you go to a new job? Training. You're learning how to do something until you're confident enough and you can say, oh, I can hit the ground running. We are always doing it. So be encouraged today to test yourself. Hey, listen, and if you think you fail, what you gonna do? Well, you're gonna get up and do it again, won't you? Oh, but why would I get up and do it if I can't make it work? If you get up with that attitude, you can't get up with that attitude. Get up with the attitude of, okay, what's the process again? I know what I want. I will experience in imagination what I would experience in reality. And then I remain faithful to that imaginal act. That's what I want. Okay, let me do it. And you do it. And you do it, and you do it, and you're doing it well. I digress. Anyhow, let's take a moment to welcome everyone because I'm not going to keep y'all. Hey, Wisdom Almighty. I see you here, YouTube, Facebook world. You're the one who's made yourself known. Hello, Hilarion. You are here on Twitter. It is always lovely to see you, my dearest. Well, who's here on Fanbase this morning? Hey, it looks like Fanbase is bumping up in here today. Mint Mind. Howdy. Hey, CM. Hey, KZ. Hey, Ollie. My dear darling, my dear Allie, Miss Crenshaw. Happy is in the house. Delirium Fit. They call me Mr. Fett. Anyway, that's Michelle Montana, if you know a thing or two about Calypso. Anyway. Hello, Moon. Miss McQueen. Miss Fawn, our birthday girl. Listen, we're going to roll with that birthday till the month is out. Flo Smiles. Oracle Tree House. That's what we do around here. You see, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here today and spending your morning with me yet again. And if you guys were here yesterday, well, you know, it almost went to lunch. But hey, it went through the wee hours, the crack of dawn, to just about lunch. But we had a heck of a time, didn't we? I digress. Anyhow, when you hear the bowl this morning, find your clarity. Okay? Find your clarity, my dearest friends. Little bit is in the basement. So, the only bird song will be from Birds, the little tweeties in the tree. I don't see him again. Little sparrows, I don't see him. Or the chickadees yet. But let's play it. Countdown initiated. Oh, viewing pleasure. You'll have to catch the replay, honey. That's all right. Viewing pleasure. Tell you what. If you download the Fanbase app, if you're interested in that kind of thing, come on over to Fanbase. That's usually where we hang out for like 20 minutes afterwards. If it's, Fanbase. Give it a shot. And you can catch some more fun stuff over there. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go forth today and remember the process. What do you want, and be clear about it. Experience in imagination what you would experience in reality. One of those things is going to resonate, then that's what you experience in imagination. And step 3, remain faithful to it every morning, every night. Why? That is your most suggestible state without effort. And then you gotta lose yourself anyway, lose yourself. Become fully immersed in your imaginal act so that you will lose all sense of time. See? That's it. Anywho, I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side. I forget which lectures tonight. I don't know which lectures tonight. I have no idea. It's already there, but I don't remember the title. So that is at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are awake, hey, beloved left troll just popped in. Honey, we just about to pop out. Anyway, I love you all. Just remember the process and follow through with the process. That is your only job. Like the guy on A Living Color. You just have one job. You're just a surgeon. Listen, we only have one job. And if you don't know A Living Color, you missed out. But I digress. For those of you who got it, I know I got it. So, because I thought about it, it just popped into my head. And, well, you know how that happens, as within, so without. Yeah, I'll see you tonight. Much love to each and every one of you. Much love. Twitter is closed. YouTube and Facebook. Peace out.